Hello and welcome to another episode of The Next Level. We are coming to you in strange, weird virtual reality mode this week. So because of COVID-19, we're all staying at home, but we're able to still stream out, and thought we'd still get an episode out to you and have some fun together online. So tonight, oddly enough, there are no announcements. So we'll just get right into the swing of things. As a quick recap for what's happened so far, Gildy, the ranger, received a job to go and find a missing guard, a merchant in the Shadow Forest, but wanted to recruit some help. Recruited a known sort of ally in the city in the form of Talon. And then went in search of some others and found a group at the Minstrel's Muse. Recruited them. The next day, everybody headed out, and on the road, there was very little conversation. But by the end of the day, you'd faced a monster together and saved a farmer and his family. The next day, there was much more conversation on the road as you headed towards the Shadow Forest, and you got to know each other a little bit more. You also you encountered a Pegasus that left you a gift. Specifically, there was a message for Talon. That night you camped at the edge of the Shadow Forest, and there was some mysterious happenings, but nothing actually occurred during the evening. Next day you traveled into the Shadow Forest, which seemed mostly normal for about half the day until you started going off the beaten track and deeper into the Shadow Forest. You encountered the shadow smoke, which completely blinded you, and also ran afoul of some demon deer. And you decided after that you were just going to rest for the day as it was getting late. And you had a bit of a rest before dinner, had some food, and then decided to just sleep for the rest of the evening. You had your watches set up. And then, as everyone had fallen asleep and the first watch was just getting going, there was some noises and some rustling in the forest around you. And Torok noticed a hulking bestial figure with shadows sort of coming off it, almost like tendrils and tentacles, with eye sockets that seem to be void, just sort of bleeding the shadow smoke out of them. And that's pretty much where we left off, as that strange ogre-like being was heading towards you. Everybody can roll initiative. We'll have everybody roll, even though some of you are asleep at the moment. And let me know what you get. Ooh.
All right. Initiative +3. I have a 23.
And Jonathan got a 15.
All right, so 25 to 20, or over 20. 23? Anybody else? All right.
Figuring out how to roll. Sorry.
Okay. Gildy, we know, has
Got
a
it.
3.
I got a total of 12.
All right, so 20 to 15? No?
I got a 15, sorry.
15, all right, so Torok is on 15. Really
15 as well.
You got a 15 as well?
Yeah.
So Leon has a 15. 15 to 10 is a 12. Okay. Mint is a 12.
No, actually, I rolled an 8. I was looking in the wrong spot.
Okay. Never mind. So 5 to 10.
Yes. Then goes mint, then Talon.
All right. Mint and Talon. So an 8, and what did Talon get?
6.
6. All right.
I'm not the slowest.
Nope.
Nope. Well, and also you're awake and everyone else, well, almost everyone else isn't. So that's going to play into this, and we'll see how things go. So the first awake person who is going to act is Torok on a 15. There is an ogre standing about 15 feet in front of you, looking like he's wanting to charge right at you.
Okay, so he's going to pull out his great axe and a hand axe as well.
All right.
This is the right kind of opponent for that, and he's going to attack with both.
All right. So you're going to move up through the forest?
Yeah.
All right. You move up. I'm just going to adjust you
So
on my
if
little
I
marker thing
remember
here.
from
Yep.
last game, he would have heard the alarm go off, so he knows people
Oh,
are
yes,
being
yes, yes. So
woken up.
there's, that's right. There was the alarm spell. So everybody, there's a ringing bell sound going off, and Leon, you're hearing that as well in your head. I guess Gildy, so we'll move back a step. Gildy, give me a D20 roll.
And that's a 10.
10. And that'll be good enough. So you hear the bell. This round, you're pretty much just waking up and groggy and trying to figure out what's going on. You hear Torok sort of tromping off through the woods to attack. Torok, you can make your attacks.
Okay, so with the great axe, so that would be a 23.
I'm pretty sure a 23 is going to hit. Yep.
Okay, and that's a 1d12 plus 4. And so that's 14 damage.
14 damage.
And he's also going to attack with his hand axe, because he gets single hand fighting.
Yep.
But I think I lose the +6 on the second attack. I don't think I get the strength modifier to hit.
To hit? Or no, to damage.
I can never remember which it is.
Yeah, so if you're going two-handed, one quick sec, it's in the combat section. Two-handed fighting. You can use a bonus. You're using a bonus action attack with the other hand. You don't get your ability modifier to the damage of the bonus attack. But if you have any other bonuses to damage, they would still apply.
Okay, so I get the bonus to hit, just not the bonus to damage.
Yes.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Natural 20.
Nice.
All right, so I roll damage twice.
Yep.
So it's 1d6 for damage. So the first attack does 3 damage.
Okay.
Second roll. 2 damage, so 5 total. Excellent.
5 total. All right. All right. You do notice, like you swing with your great axe, and that very fine, very beautiful blade does bite deeply into this being. You swing with your hand axe, and it almost seems like it's missing something a little bit. Like there's a bit of not even quite resistance, but you almost sort of swing through the shadows. You seem like you've wounded it, but it's also seems a little bit more ethereal there. And Leon, you are almost certainly being woken up by multiple different sources. And I'm going to give you at least sort of a move for this round. You are being woken up, but you can at least sort of move around if you'd like to, since it's just sort of a bit of a surprise round as well.
Okay. Well, I wasn't planning to move, but I would, if I could, I would be turning on the bullseye lantern rod.
Yep.
To shine it on that location.
Nice. All right. Yeah, so I could say you could do that instead of your sort of move action, because you're up in a tree, I think, for your yeah. So you can do that. Yeah. You've got a decent little arc. There's a couple trees between you and it, so it's still sort of partly in shadow, but definitely sort of good chunk of light is hitting it.
Okay.
All right. Mint, what would you like to do? You are a decent ways away, sort of on the other side of the camp, but you could start making your way over.
Yeah, I might as well start maneuvering into position so that I don't know if it's possible to flank this round or not, just to help out somebody else.
Yeah, if you want to try
charge could get me in.
Yeah, if you want to do a double move. 1, 2. You can get around sort of beside it for this round, even with a double move.
Yeah,
No,
so
wait.
if I use both my actions to move, then at least I can maybe help somebody else flank it before it takes its turn.
Actually, no. You can get into a flanking position, but that's your full move. I didn't give you your full amount.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
So you are flanking with Torok at the moment.
Woohoo, Torok.
Talon, give me a d20 roll.
Alrighty. $17.
Oh yeah. You hear the bells, you wake up, you come, relatively alert. You're sort of aware of what's going on, but you're not able to act this round.
Okay.
All right. So that brings us to the ogre. Give me 1 sec. All right. So you've got Torok. He's got Torok in front of him and Mint behind him. He's going to sort of semi-shift sideways. And what you notice are these sort of big shadow, sort of tentacle things coming off him. One is going to reach for Torok. Oh, but only has a 10. The other one is going to reach for Mint with a 19. Does that hit Mint?
AC.
Yes, it
Rolling.
does. All right.
Yes, it does.
Yep. So, that's what I'm missing. Okay, give me 1 sec. I forgot to pull something up here. All right. Like, I know I've got this stuff written down somewhere. Where are we? Yep. There we are. All right. So you take. Ooh, ouch. 12 points of damage. And you
I still got 10.
You are grappled.
Ah!
As this sort of tendril wraps around you and even actually sort of lifts you off the ground a little bit. Actually, I can just go back to that page. I think that's got most of the details. Yeah, and then he's also going to try to punch Torok, just with a big shadow-wreathed fist. That is a 21, which I'm pretty sure is going to hit. And the fist does, okay. 9 points of damage to Torok with a punch. Yeah, so he's got Mint sort of semi-grappled and lifted up. He's gonna. I know none of you can actually see this, but I'm
Are you actually going to use the?
Yes, I'm actually using the little thing that's can actually lift people up. Oh, but it's not working anyway. All right. Well, on this vertical surface, it makes it a lot harder to actually. There we go. All right, Mint has been picked up. And we are back to the top of the order, which is Gildy. You are awake. You are aware of things. There is a big creature about 20 feet to your left. Yep. And it is fighting Torok and Mint. What would you like to do?
Okay. Well, I'd like to, stand up, and I'm going to use my swift bow.
Yep.
Which rolls for a 10.
10 will miss.
All right. And I get to do this twice more since I've got Dread
Yes.
Ambusher for my first turn, and this bow is pretty cool and lets me fire it twice. My second roll, is a 19, so a total of 26.
That definitely hits.
Excellent. And then what's my damage? It is... So that damage is 11.
Okay.
And then I've got one more shot with it.
Yep.
Which is a 23.
That definitely hits. So in case people are wondering, this is what the ogre sort of looks like, and he's holding Mint. Yes. There we go.
And that damage is a 9.
9. All right. All right. Torok, you are not unfortunately flanking at this point. Mint has been sort of picked up and moved, so she's lost her sort of flanking position, but you're still right in front of this thing.
Okay, so given the results of the last one, just to confirm, so if the great axe, if I'm wielding it two-handed, does it get more damage? Is that second value?
Yes.
Okay, then I will put the small axe away and slice with the big axe once.
All right.
On it. 1d20 plus 6. Oh, natural 20 again.
Oh, geez.
So that means I'm doing 1d20 plus 4 damage twice. Okay, so the first roll
Oh my
is
goodness.
23 damage.
23 damage. Jeez.
And the second roll is 21 damage.
So Talon's just gonna go back to bed.
And Talon can go back to bed because that's pretty much it for that thing. So,
So how hard did I fall? Like how high up in the air was I when the
you-
tendril dissipated?
you weren't that high. You take a point of damage as you sort of fall to the ground. And this thing, it's the way it falls, it's sort of, the Tor cleaves into it and it sort of almost collapses in on itself in just sort of a puff of weird shadows that then dissipate out and sort of flee in all directions. And you're, just sort of released and fall to the ground. And take just a little bit of damage, but you're otherwise fine.
Okay.
Those 2 critical hits from that really nasty weapon, that was something.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really
Nice
glad you
plan,
decided
Dora.
to put away the smaller axe.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the rest of you, the first time sort of seeing Torok wield this thing, it is this beautiful great axe. It's a great axe, and he was wielding it with one hand. So not quite sure how he was doing that, if he's particularly strong or if this axe is special. But yeah, that was a particularly nasty weapon in this fight.
And that goes right back on his back and he picks up his warhammer.
All right. All right. So, the rest of you who hadn't even really had a chance to do much, just sort of look at it like, well, that's done. Guess we can go back to sleep now.
Mint kind of limps along and kind of goes, anyone want to heal me? I'm at less than half hit points. I'm kind of ouched.
At that point, you notice, so, you all sort of turn to Jacob, who would sort of usually be your default healer. Jacob is still fast asleep. Seemed to have slept through the whole thing, and you go over and you try and shake him, and he's just not waking up. He's still alive, still breathing, but just, nope, he is out cold.
He drank too much beer.
Yep.
Sounds like Jacob. Talon's just gonna come up and sort of behind Tor and just put a hand very lightly on his shoulder and just, well done.
It was evil. it needed to die.
Mm. Yes. And then town will back off.
I love those deep conversations.
Yeah. Well, Gildy will heal Mint with a Cure Wounds
Right.
first level, and so Mint gets 1d. Mint gets 7 hit points back.
Thank you. Sorry, how many was that again?
7.
7.
7. I really appreciate it.
Does the ogre body stay there, or does it like dissipate into shadow or anything?
No, yeah, it pretty much dissipates into shadow.
Oh, thank goodness. I did not want to clean that up. Or smell it in the morning.
Yeah, it is completely gone, as if it was never there.
We're in the shadow forest. Who could tell if it's morning?
Yeah, there's that. So you go through the rest of your watches. Everyone is quite sort of wary and on guard while they're awake. In fact, everybody just give me a sort of a D20 roll.
Just base, no additional.
Yeah, just a straight D20 roll.
3.
3.
I got 17.
Also got a 3.
Okay.
Ooh, but I beat D.
I appear to have gotten a 1.
No.
13.
All right. So Leon and Torok and Talon. This particular creature, even though two of you didn't fight it, is really sort of gotten into your mind and just sort of stuck there. And you try to sleep, but it's just rough dreams. So for Leon, you're trying to do your meditation, but you just can't meditate. It is like your mind is just keeps bringing this thing back into your. So yeah, you unfortunately do not benefit from a long rest this evening.
All right.
So yes, by the time the morning comes, you three are still sort of groggy and just not feeling good. If you pretty much decide to do anything today, you will gain 1 level of exhaustion.
Okay then.
And so we didn't even get a short rest then.
You can probably have benefited from a short rest during the evening, during sort of the full long rest time. So if you at least needed to recoup some hit points or that sort of thing, or otherwise you could have the benefits of a short rest, but not a full long rest.
Yeah, I will roll the 1d12 plus 3.
Yeah. Now that said, if you choose to pretty much just stay in place, stay at this camp, and sort of take it easy today and essentially rest again, it's not actually taking a long rest, but if you just sort of choose to stay here until you've taken another long rest, you will not gain exhaustion, and the next long rest would just sort of even things out at that point. If you choose to actually go through the forest today, you will quickly gain a level of exhaustion.
All right. Just as a refresher, what are the penalties? What are the effects of exhaustion?
So the first level exhaustion is disadvantage on skill checks.
Okay.
So you'd still be able to attack just fine, but any skill checks you'd have disadvantage on.
Okay. Now, Torok's kind of our survivalist, tracker, etc. So.
Well, Gildy's also quite good at it.
That's true.
So do Mint and Gildy get the long rest then? 'Cause
Yes.
you rolled better? Okay.
Yes.
Sweet.
I was giving you
appreciate
pretty
the-
much a decent chance. I said if you roll below a 5, then
But no, Nat.
This place is horrible.
it is.
Aren't you glad you came along with your friends?
Why did I agree to come to this horrible place? I'm so tired. Can we
You said if me and Torok and Jacob were going, you'd come with us.
can we just stay here for the day? I can't even think properly.
so to that, Gildy says, well, no, time is of the essence. I'm really sorry that you didn't get a very good sleep. That happens sometimes in the forest, but hopefully your next rest will be a little bit more restful. But for now, we have to keep tracking these merchants so that we hopefully find them alive.
All right. So
Yes.
Gildy is suggesting you move on.
Mhm.
Right. Yes. Yes.
All right.
I don't think, and Turok's basically, I don't want to sleep here again.
All right. So you continue on for that day. Again, the three of you very quickly become sort of just a little slower, just a little tired, just up to you whether you're grumpy or not. But it's definitely, it wasn't a great sleep, not a great start to the day. And you're trudging through this forest where every now and then you're just in complete and utter darkness, and then, you know, not. As pretty much the entire day today is just, it is dark. And filtering down from somewhere above you in the heavens, this starts to be this sort of pattering rain that comes, and you all throw your cloaks on and put your hoods up, but yeah, the rain sort of starts to slowly sort of seep into things. I'm assuming Leon has the umbrella out again.
Oh yeah. And actually, so did Jacob wake up in the morning?
Nope, Jacob never woke up. Jacob is still asleep. Who's carrying Jacob?
Torok.
All right.
All right, muscles.
Because I would have taken him up on his offer for me to like
That's right.
give him a piggyback.
I forgot about that.
I did not.
Maybe Leon would just carry him in hopes for payment later.
No, it was the other way around.
No, I don't think
Oh, it
so.
was the other way around.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay,
Forgot.
No, but Leon is going to sit on top of Jacob, on top of Torok.
That's right.
Tempting.
No.
All right. Do we also travel in 10-minute spurts today, where I'm using detect magic, or are we just following the trail?
We
That's up
might
to
as
you.
well keep that up.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, you sort of travel for 10 minutes, stop for 10 minutes, travel for 10 minutes, stop for 10 minutes. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We who are exhausted don't mind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is slow going. And yeah, you are following this very rough trail. It comes to a point where, like, even before, you weren't necessarily really following a specific creature's tracks, but it's almost more sort of by instinct, and where sort of the forest is almost leading you is sort of the path that you're following. And let's get a survival check. So Torok, you can help with this, but you do have a disadvantage, or you can just help and Gildy will have advantage.
I will give Gildy help.
All right.
I also have a survival of 4.
All right.
If yours is impeded and isn't as good as mine, I can lend that to Gildy instead.
It doesn't matter. If
Doesn't
Torok
matter.
is helping out, then we can just.
Good enough. Okay.
All right.
All right.
My first roll is a 10.
All right.
And then my second one was a natural 1, so a total of a 7.
All right. So was the 10 with bonuses?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I've got a plus 6 to survival.
So you rolled a 4 and a 1?
Yep.
Okay. And pretty much by about midday, Gildy sort of stops entirely and is like, I seem to have lost the trail. And sort of tells everyone to stay in place, and Gildy just sort of does a little scouting for a little bit. Give me just a perception check.
That's a 15.
All right. So that's good enough. It takes you probably about an hour of scouting around, but you do manage to find what you think is sort of the path again, and sort of can continue on for the rest of that day. The rain picks up as the afternoon picks up. You don't really know it's afternoon, but you sort of are roughly tracking time by sort of the known, measures of things. And you get to the end of the day, and it's just you're wet, you're miserable. Three of you are just sort of completely done with everything. But
I think Gildy would have suggested like stopping a little bit earlier in the day than normal, because she can see that especially the three who didn't sleep very well are like not happy.
Sounds good. And especially with Jacob sort of, again, completely out of it.
Yeah, you don't want Turok to get to the point he's just dragging Jacob behind. That would...
And Leon, I'm going to send you a message.
No.
Everyone's like, ooh, Dee's like, no.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a mystery.
I didn't spell that right, but you get the idea.
Okay. When I guess I noticed this later in the day.
Actually, you would have noticed it with your very first Detect Magic. It's been happening the entire time.
Okay. Well, I definitely would have mentioned that as soon as I noticed it.
Yeah.
That Jacob appears to be under some kind of enchantment.
Oh.
Can you tell what kind of enchantment it is?
I can tell that it's an enchantment.
Okay. Huh.
You see, that's how detect magic works. First, you can detect there's magic, and then after that, you can detect the school, of which there's different kinds, such as enchantment.
What you're saying is you don't know.
Oh.
More of a true
unless I can
false
make
than a...
make an Arcana check to identify what.
Yes, you can make an Arcana check.
With disadvantage.
Yes, it is.
Yay.
Oh, good. Tired mages doing magic.
Could possibly go wrong. Oh, good.
Wow.
One roll was great.
Wow. Yeah. So it would have been a 25, but instead it's a 9.
All right.
For a natural 1.
Yes.
With the 1, the roll is a 9 total.
Yes. Yeah. With that, you're. Let me put it this way. You sort of try and analyze the enchantment, you sort of try and analyze what you think is going on, and you are certain you have never seen anything like this before.
Yeah. So maybe if there wasn't this confounded rain and that creature hadn't attacked in the night, I could figure things out. But as it is, I have nothing.
Okay. Gildy nods and she's like, okay, that makes sense. We're all a little tired. It's been a long day. The rain is very unpleasant. Maybe we can try again some other time, but for the time being, do you have any sense of whether he's in danger with this enchantment, or is he just going to keep sleeping for a while? Like, I know you don't know the specifics.
I have no idea.
Okay. Well, he seems to have done fine for today, so I guess we can only hope, unless anyone else has any way of figuring out what this is.
And
hope it's not harmful.
To look at him, he doesn't seem wounded. He doesn't seem sickly. He doesn't seem unwell at all. He seems like, I can't remember if he took a little damage last time, but if so, like, he has rested. He has sort of healed up. He looks perfectly fine, just sleeping and can't be woken up.
Okay.
All right.
I think Leon is secretly envious and is like, curse my resistance to enchantment.
All right. So you camp that night. And I mean, there isn't really any place to get out of the rain. It's still sort of coming down. It's like the rain. If you've ever been out after like a really, really strong, storm that's passed, but you're walking along and you're under a tree and the wind moves through the tree and you just get a downpour of rain of that sort. It's pretty much constantly like that.
Mm.
And yeah, you find like this another, oh, right, thank you. You find this, really cramped sort of space that you all managed to, bed down in and sort of curl up. Are you going to keep watches tonight?
Mhm.
All right.
I'll start first watch since I'm rested.
I was gonna say,
All right.
Yeah.
later watch.
All right.
Guilty highly recommends still having watches, but also volunteers to go in earlier watches.
All right. So it's going to be the Gildy and Mint on the first watch.
Sounds good.
All right. Sounds good.
So are we under the cover of a tree? Like we're under the
Oh yeah, you're constantly under a trees. Like you cannot see sky at all.
Okay.
You're probably still getting rained on though.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. I will be up in the tree.
Yep.
And I will use, but that only lasts for an hour. I'm gonna have to trance for 4 hours straight, aren't I?
Yes.
This is terrible and I hate it. Fine. Fine. I'm trancing in the tree, getting rained on. Miserable. Why did I come here? I missed the desert. It was warm. It was dry.
I almost died, but it was dry.
I feel like Mick Jagger and David Bowie are having a little song going, "Trancing in the tree." No? All right. Sorry.
Okay, so
I'm tired.
yes. So well, the rest is happening. I'm going to throw out to our viewers tonight because we didn't have an ask for yet. So what small forest creature
Uh-oh.
is going to come across our party, or are they going to come across just a small forest creature? Give us some options and we'll check back in after the break and see where we are. All right, for this particular break, or this particular rest, everything goes smoothly. There's no attacks. You all managed to get a full rest in, so you're all back up to full hit points. You have, if you did spend hit dice, you get, I'm going to say it's probably 2 back this time, and then 1 back the next time, depending on how many you spend. So yes, you can take your long rest and get fully healed up.
Okay.
The rain does end sometime in the middle of the night. It's still sort of just damp everywhere because the sun never really gets to the ground down here. So it's pretty much rainforesty, sort of, ferns and dampness and sort of moist earth everywhere you're going anyway. The next day, you get up, you start your day, no one's exhausted, and get moving again through the forest. All right. Who wants to roll for survival, or do you want to? One of you want to help another?
I can roll for survival again. I should be good at this. I've got a +6 to survival.
Rock will assist.
Okay.
All right, so you get advantage.
Okay, the first roll is a 13 for a total of 19.
Nice.
So that's good. And the second roll is a roll for 10 for a total of 16. So
All right, 19. Excuse me. So yeah, the day actually goes quite smoothly. In fact, you're sort of following the path, and Gildy sort of sees something just a little bit off the path, and it's like, oh, everybody sort of come this way. And you get into this, I mean, there aren't any large clearings anywhere in this forest, but you get into this sort of small cleared area, and you're actually under just a tiny bit of sunlight, sort of streaming down. It's a pool maybe about 5 feet big, and that's it. And you sort of just take your each of you sort of cycle through and just have a moment in the sun. Yeah, and remember what that was like. Oh. And then, depending on how long you stay there, back into the forest again.
Leon undoubtedly takes more than her fair share of time in the sunlight. And somebody has to like kind of suggest that she moves so someone else can get a chance. I'm also, as soon as possible, going to take a look at Jacob again.
Yep.
And see if I can make more sense of things now that my brain is working.
Turok holds Jacob under the sun and kind of
Yes.
shakes him a little bit.
I'm also pretty convinced he's just passed out drunk still.
Could be.
I've seen people do this before.
All right, so Arcana.
For today, I have a total of 20 for my Arcana check.
All right. So again, sort of, you take a moment. Jacob is laid down. You sort of study this aura around him that you're seeing, and you get this sense that there's something about this that is on another level than just sort of the natural world. So your natural 20 means that, or not natural 20, but your 20 total means that you can now roll a religion check.
Religion?
Yep.
I'm not as good at religion. That's a 14. It was almost a 17 plus 4.
14 is not bad. 14 sort of does give you enough to know that there is some element of the divine in whatever is the part of this enchantment around Jacob.
Okay. So I share that information.
So what has Jacob been drinking?
Oh, special cocktail.
And unfortunately, the divine is not my area of expertise.
Anybody else want to try and give it a go and try and figure out what's going on?
An Arcana check? Can we do that untrained?
Anybody can generally try things. So yeah, if you want to, it would just be a general knowledge check, an intelligence check, but you can give it a shot.
Oh, intelligence check?
Yeah.
Okay.
Turok will give it a try.
I mean, if you have Arcana, you can roll it. If you don't, then you're just rolling intelligence.
As you say, it's effectively the same thing, yes.
Yeah.
No. So Turok just growls at him. And he doesn't wake up. He's like,
Wow. With a -2, I rolled a 17.
Nice. All right.
Wow.
So yeah, you get sort of the same bits of information just in terms of this is it's some form of enchantment, it's some form of sort of prolonged sleep that from Leon's description seems to have some element of the divine in it, but you're not quite sure exactly where you can see that sort of mixing in. But yeah, you get the feeling that there's something going on here. So again, sort of beyond the natural world, something is affecting Jacob.
Okay.
Yes, I believe I mentioned that.
All right. As that day wears on, so you're sort of into your third day in the forest. You definitely, after your patch of sunlight, you definitely start to get into a much, not necessarily darker. Again, the entire forest is sort of, again, dim light. This is generally a dark area, but it's a much sort of thicker brambles and brush. With Gildy's sort of ranger skills, you are still moving through it relatively well, but it's a lot of hacking and slashing and just this. It sort of closes in a little bit more. Everything is a little sort of tighter and thicker and darker. And then
Uh-oh.
you come across what sort of looks like a game trail. But if anybody who wants to can give me either perception or survival check.
Sure.
Yeah,
Perception
I'll roll
DC
that
is
too.
probably a lot higher.
My
Okay, I'll do a
survival.
survival.
All right. Perception.
Whoops, wrong chat. That was going to happen at some point. I just sent over Zoom to everybody, my roll command, my attempt to roll.
Oh, and I replied, but only to me, apparently.
Okay, there we go. Mine's a total of 21.
And I got
Oh
a
no,
19
can I
as
take
well.
the one that
No.
you gave me, Rob?
No.
Rob gave me a 56 in the Zoom chat.
So
That
you
is some
said,
good perception I've got there.
was that perception or survival?
Mine's the same.
All right, so we'll say it was survival then for 21. Anybody else?
I have
Survival at 19.
Turok survival at 13.
Talon, perception at 10.
Okay.
Yeah, Leon, perception at 8.
All right. So yeah, unfortunately, 2 perception checks. You're just like, it's a game trail. I don't even really know what a game trail is, but if you're saying it's a game trail, then I trust you.
A bit of a path through the forest. Who knew?
What the sort of 2 lower survival checks, so Mint and Torok, what you tend to notice is there's almost this weird in that is it's very sort of, what's the right word? This trail is just a little too straight.
Oh,
And it's not even that it's straight, it's actually slightly curved, but it's curved in like a very uniform sort of way. And the 19 was Mint, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely you notice that there's tracks here. Well, both of you notice sort of there's sort of tracks, and really only one type of tracks, and they seem to be lapping over each other. There's something has sort of continuously passed by this area. Gildy, what you notice is sort of looking at the tracks, you're like, this is not standard game sort of, tracks and footprints. This is like a shod horse. And you even notice faint sort of burn marks where the hooves are,
Ew.
where the hoof prints are.
All
And
right.
at that point, everybody sort of turns as you hear this sort of semi-roaring, whinnying noise. And let me pull up the full description of what you see. Give me 1 second here.
Turok's only comment at this moment is worst vacation spot ever.
A
you don't take
cloud.
vacations.
So you see this sort of cloud of rolling sort of shadow smoke, this horse with its tail and mane and hooves wreathed in sort of, it sort of looks like fire, but it's sort of also shadow-like at the same time. It's sort of this dark but infused with red, sort of these flames. It's got an unearthly sort of black form, moves very quickly, and sort of seems to almost vanish and reappear sort of as it's charging toward you. And on his back, there is a rider with a very large sword. And this rider seems very skeletal, but in armor with sort of glowing red eyes as this beast charges down on you. And I think about there is probably a good time to take an early break.
Okay.
Cool.
So we will break for 10 minutes so that everybody can go grab a glass of your favorite drink or go to the bathroom. And we'll meet back up again just after 8:30 or so. Thank you very much. We'll see you in 10 minutes. And welcome back. We have our results from people suggesting the small furry creatures that the party could come across. The one that I like the best. So as the party stands looking at this nightmarish horse and rider that is bearing down on them, a small bunny, well dressed in this nice little vest and coat, comes running out, pure white bunny, of course, running out onto the path, looks at it, looks at you, mentions something about being late, and then runs off.
Nice.
Billy says, I have never seen that before in all of my years in the Shadow Forest.
Yep.
The horse or the bunny?
The bunny.
You've seen this horse before.
I don't know. I assume that I have seen many strange creatures in the forest.
You are much more used to seeing terrifying creatures like
Yes.
this horse, as opposed to friendly little well-dressed bunnies that talk. Yes. And with that, let's everybody roll initiative. All right. No, I need to get your.
Well, D, you and I are just rocking these rolls tonight. Oh my god.
Yep.
We both rolled natural ones.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
And it makes sense. We're just staring at it like, what is that horrible thing?
That's right.
It's going to kill us.
Oops, nope, I wrote that down wrong. Okay. There we go. And I'm just making some quick notes here. Okay. All right, so 25 to 20. What do we have?
I have a 23.
Oh, Gilby. 23. Anybody else around that area? Okay, 15 to 20. Dead silence. All right, 10 to 15.
I got 10.
Okay.
It actually makes a lot of sense. Gildy's like, oh yeah, I've seen these horrible things before. The rest of us are just like, what is that?
Yeah, pretty much. 5 to 10.
7.
All right. Anybody above 7? No? All right.
And the rest.
Yeah, so Leon and Talon?
We both got 4s.
4s. Okay.
And
Which one of you would like to go first?
I think Talon should go first because I think Leon is just basically paralyzed with terror.
All right.
All right. So Gildy, you haven't seen something exactly like this before, but you're used to seeing various monstrosities in the Shadow Forest. You're sort of, you don't know exactly what this is, but you're sort of a little more prepared to deal with this. What would you like to do in your first round out? You are, by the time that so initiative starts, it's already been charging at you. You are about 40 feet away from it.
Okay. Could you describe the rider again?
Yes, rider is essentially, picture an armored skeleton, essentially, only the bones are sort of blackened and he's sort of roughly from within his armor giving off this sort of faint shadow smoke as well, but the eyes are glowing red inside of the helmed head.
Maybe he's friendly.
And he's got a very large sword that seems to be also sort of black and sort of drifting off shadow smoke as well.
Okay. I'm, as usual, going to take on my bow. I do have a moment of being like, what was that rabbit? And kind of like looking over to where it went and being like, should we follow it? And then if it weren't for this horse that is like charging at us, might have followed it. But as it is, I take out my bow and I'm going to fire at it with my bow.
Okay. Follow the white rabbit.
Okay, my first roll is a total of a 23.
Okay, so please tell me whether you are specifically targeting the horse or the rider.
I'm going to target the horse.
Okay, 23 definitely hits.
Okay. And that is for 7 damage.
Okay.
And then I get to do this 2 more times.
Was the horse and rider, like, were they both blinking, or was it just the horse?
Yes, they're both blinking.
Yeah.
My second roll is an 11.
11 does not hit.
Okay. And then my last one is a 16.
16 does hit.
Hey.
And that is 6 damage.
All right. So yeah, 2 arrows. One sort of, the third one goes wide, but 2 sort of stick into sort of the chest of the horse as it's charging at you, and then the horse goes. So how fast can it move? Oh, that's fun. So the horse is running, and you can hear its sort of hooves, and as they're hitting the ground, it's sort of sizzling just a little bit, because again, they're sort of wreathed in this black fire, but then that goes eerily silent as the horse lifts ever so slightly off the ground and seems to be roughly flying.
Good.
And as it moves, it's again sort of seems to be sort of blinking, but it gets to right up to where Gildy is. Gildy was sort of the first one on the track that it comes to, and it pretty much is just going to try and sort of run over her, attack with the hooves. It rolls.
Yikes.
Oh, Gildy is relatively small and the horse is relatively large. So that was an 8. So it pretty much just misses as Gildy sort of deftly moves aside from the hooves. And from there, it sort of rears up and stops, and sort of ready for the rider to attack. But in the meantime, Torak, what are you going to do?
Well, it's another shadow creature, so it's the great axe.
Yep.
So we'll try that.
You are about 10 feet away from it if you wanted to move up.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. You take out the axe again. You're targeting the horse or rider?
The horse.
Okay.
But I'm going to miss with a 9.
Yes, you are. All right. Again, you're wielding it sort of two-handed this time?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, a great swing with this, again, beautiful axe. But the horse, again, sort of rears up and it goes underneath. Mint, you are next.
How far away am I from the horse and rider?
5, 10, 15. You're about 20 feet away from the horse and roughly 20, 25 feet away from the rider.
Well, they're within range of the crossbow, so I'll
Yep.
take aim with that. Did I roll?
Yep,
That's a
there it is.
roll.
Nice.
Oh, very nice. So 24.
That will definitely hit. And again, you're aiming for the horse?
Yeah, I'm gonna aim for the horse, not the rider.
All right, you hit.
1 moment. That was the D8 that I rolled, but I didn't include the right
Oh, you can just add damage afterwards.
plus. 1 moment. Yeah, I should just add the bonus after. So that would be a 3. So so the 6 plus 3 would be 9.
9 damage to the horse.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so another sort of crossbow bolt sticks into, like, this is sort of slightly underneath as it was rearing up. That definitely does not seem comfortable. And the rider goes. The horse sort of shifts a little bit, so the rider, this sort of long shadow-like blade can sort of swing it out and attack Torak. How many attacks does the rider get? Oh, they get they get both of these actually. So before it rolls to hit with the sword, these glowing eyes sort of pulse, and everybody within 60 feet, which is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, everybody
Oh, God.
can make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Oh, good. Ah!
Oh no.
All right, DC, if you can
Oh.
beat that.
Oh, I think Turok just did.
No competing for worst rolls.
Too late.
Yeah.
If we
I got
were,
it.
I think Torok wins.
All right. So we'll go through the order here. So Gildy,
I rolled a 13.
yeah, that is the save that you needed.
Yes.
You are assigned. Torok,
I rolled the highest
Natural
of everybody.
1 plus 2 is a 3.
you are frightened. If you have something that prevents you from being frightened, then that can kick in. But otherwise, you are frightened. Mint,
8 total.
you are frightened. Talon,
3.
you are frightened.
No,
and
4.
Leon,
4. No, 4 or 3. I'm 4. Either way, I'm frightened.
and Leon.
Yeah, I have a 7. I'm frightened.
So everybody but Gildy is frightened. Jacob, at this point, lays there doing nothing. Okay, so that was the first attack. The second attack, now that Torok is a little frightened, the rider is going to swing with his sword. Where did that dice go? That is a 16 to hit.
That matches my armor class.
Then that hits. Okay. Oh, wait, no, it's not those two. It's these two. Come on. You take 9 points of psychic damage.
Boy.
Yep. Oh,
So that's still a good-
yes. So I'm assuming your light is still going. So for those who missed it, because you missed it because we were on break, Talon had realized that the drift globe that he was going to be using pretty much all the time to shed sort of regular light into a 40-foot radius. So as soon as the horse comes into that the sort of warring forces of sort of light and darkness, but it is in essentially around it is still sort of dim light. Around Talon is still bright light. But yeah, you are still mostly lit by the drift globe at this point, even though the horse is also sort of giving off an aura of darkness. Yeah. All right, so that is the sword attack. And
So
yeah.
the sword didn't do slashing damage, it did psychic damage?
It did psychic damage.
Okay. Can we tell that it doesn't affect him in a usual slashy kind of way?
Yes, in that you can see that it pretty much goes right through him as if it's made of shadows, but he still seems to be hurt by it.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
All right, Talon, you are afraid. I believe, the frightened condition, you cannot move closer to this being. Oh wait, I've got it multiple places here. Frightened. Disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of its fear is within line of sight and can't willingly move closer to the source of this fear. Let me just double check to see if you get another roll on or around your turn and how that works. For 1 minute, you can repeat the saving throw at the end of your turn, ending the effect on a success. So yeah, you are frightened. The being is about 15 feet away from you. What would you like to do?
I guess I will draw my boomerang.
Yep.
And I'm going to throw it at the rider.
All right, you do have disadvantage.
Yep. All right, so roll 2d 20. Would be plus. Yeah, so it'll be +5 on each of these.
Yeah.
Huh! Ah ha ha! Still a 20.
Nice. So the lowest one was, yeah, that
It was
hits.
a natural 20 and a 15. So
Nice. All right. So yes, you hit.
yes.
We can roll damage.
All right, I think it's 1d4 plus 2. Yes. All right. Six damage.
Nice. 6 damage. That is a magical weapon, which I believe means that, yeah. And roll to see what your boomerang does.
Can you roll 1d2? Does that work?
Just roll any dice and pick odds or evens.
All right, so odds it
Do that
returns.
in roll 20 though.
Odds it returns.
All right.
Excellent.
All right. That is talent. Would you like to move at all? You can't move closer, but you could move away. You could move sort of sideways into the forest.
I will move sideways into the forest.
How far?
Does the globe require like a concentration to move with me?
No, I think you can sort of just tell it to roughly stay where it is.
What if I wanted to come with?
Oh, then yeah, essentially it will sort of follow you, I believe.
All right, then the globe and I will move, I guess maybe 20 feet off to the side.
All right. You sort of just charge into the forest again. This is a really thick forest, this area. At 20 feet away, you pretty much can't see anything that's going on.
Okay, so I probably wouldn't have gone 20 feet. I wanted to be like off the beaten path of where this thing was coming, but where I could still probably see and therefore
so
attack.
maybe 10 feet away,
10
you
feet?
sort of, yeah.
10 feet, sure.
All right. At that point, you can see through the trees. You can see enough of what's going on. But yeah, for the rest of you, your main source of light has fled into the forest. It's again relatively thick forest, so you're getting sort of shafts of light that are coming out in bits and pieces. But now the effect of the horse seems to be a little bit stronger and radiating out from it. Leon,
Get back here.
what would you like to do?
Talon, you idiot.
How far away am I from the creature?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25 roughly from the horse and 25, 30 from the rider.
Okay. And does it look like it's going to be continuing to run down this path, or it's flying kind of above everybody?
Yeah, I mean, it's only really flying like 2 to 3 feet off the ground. I just happened to notice that its flying speed was a lot faster than its running speed, so it decided to fly.
Okay. But it basically has stopped and it's attacking people in melee.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are 2 people in melee with it.
And this path, so there's a clear path that's here, right?
Yep.
Okay. Then I will move my full 30 feet down the path, assuming it doesn't take me around a bend.
It's a very, very soft bend, so you're slightly around the bend, but you can still pretty much see most of what's going on. I would say if you move to one side of the path, you probably have like half cover from things.
I will do that.
Okay.
Oh.
And then I activate the
lantern rod.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's 60 feet of bright light that again does dispel most of what's around the horse and sort of reveal the stuff that's there.
And for those who are afraid, don't forget at the end of your turn you can make another.
Oh yeah.
Another
So
save.
Oh yeah.
Talon.
Ugh.
$16.
Yay! Talon is not afraid anymore.
Good.
Yay.
Then he'll probably come back with some light.
Okay.
I'm more afraid than I was before.
Oh no.
This roll was hard.
That's true.
Well, that's why you ran away. It makes sense. Gildy, back to the top. Back to you.
So how close am I to?
You are 5 feet away from this rearing horse that is slightly flying off the ground and this really nasty rider-looking person.
Cool. Well, they're real close to me. I guess I will be using my short sword.
Okay.
And that is a 13 to hit.
That hits. I'm going to say at this range, you're pretty much attacking the horse, given your height and its height and where the rider is, unless you want to try and attack like the rider's legs.
I was still going to aim for the horse.
Yeah.
Okay. That is 4 damage.
4. All right. Yeah, you definitely sort of, one of the hooves is coming down. You run in, you duck a little bit, and you sort of slash up, and you catch it like in the, back of one of the legs, and it sort of, the leg sort of rears off, and you sort of duck back out again. Yep, you're definitely doing some damage to it. But it's now its turn, and it did not like that. So it's gonna attack you again, just because you're the one that seems to keep damaging it for the most part. And that is going to miss. I don't even know what its bonus is offhand. Yeah, it's a 9 total. So
yeah, that makes
it's flailing about with its hooves, but again, you're nice and small and you duck around. Yeah, I managed to avoid that. Is there anything else it's going to do on its turn? It could move, but that would require. It can do that or that. So. Nope. It's still happy staying where it is. Happy horse, happy flaming horse. Okay. Borak.
I mean angry, just
How close am I to it?
You are 5 feet away. You cannot move closer, but you are within range to attack it.
Then I will take a swing at it.
Yeah, you have disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh, and Gildy, you were fine, so you don't need to roll for the fear effect.
So it's a 17.
That hits. Attacking the horse again?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is 19 damage.
Nice. That took a chunk out of the horse. It is not happy. Anything else you're doing? You can move away from it, but that would provoke an attack of opportunity.
No, I'm.
All right.
I get to roll to see if I am.
Yes. Yep.
And 9 plus. Is there?
It's a wisdom. Yep.
So it'd be 11.
All right. Unfortunately, no, that is not high enough. So you are still afraid. Mint.
Okay. I figure with Mint's fear of the creature, she's kind of frozen to the spot, doesn't dare approach it, but she's going to do as she usually does. As first instinct is hide behind her crossbow and fire at it.
Yep.
All right. And I'm at disadvantage because I'm affrighted.
Yep.
Close the chat window by accident, so.
The 17 or a 20.
Okay. So it'd be the 17 because I'm at disadvantage.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So did I hit
it? 17 to against the horse or the rider. Sorry.
It would be. It was the rider that scared me, so I'm probably aiming the crossbow at the rider.
All right. You hit.
Okay. I'm gonna roll damage. Do I have to do 2 rolls for this one too, or was it just the to hit?
No, this is just to hit, so you can roll regularly.
Okay, so it's 11 total.
Nice. All right. And now the rider goes.
Do I get to roll to try and shake off the fear?
Yep.
Okay. I am only at a 3, so I'm assuming not.
All right.
I was scared.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is scary.
It was very scary.
It was very scary,
It
yes.
was very scary.
Okay. All right, so the rider is not going to do his fear gaze, but he is going to attack twice with his sword. He's got 2 targets roughly in front of him. So one at Torok is a 19, I believe. Nope, an 18, but assuming that
Still hits.
Yep. And one at Gildy, 16.
16 damage.
No, 16 to hit.
Oh, okay. Phew. That hits.
Okay. So damage against Torok is 4 psychic damage, and against Gildy is 14.
Okay.
It's a rather large swing on this thing.
Yeah.
And the rider, what is he? Is he going to do anything separate from the horse? Yes, he is. The rider vanishes from the back of the horse. And Leon, there's a skeletal figure in armor with a big nasty sword standing next to you.
I see.
And that is the end of the rider's turn. Talon, you are no longer afraid. What would you like to do?
So I saw the rider disappear. Did I see where the rider reappeared?
Make let me just double check your passive perception. Yeah, make a perception check if you're looking for him.
4, yes. 18.
18. Yeah, I'm going to say that's good enough. So it's quite difficult through the trees, but you sort of, you saw it disappear here, and you saw just something faint out of the corner of your eye over here, and you sort of looked, and yeah, you can faintly see Leon and faintly see sort of the rider next to them.
Okay, and how far away are they from me?
Roughly 40 feet.
Okay. Now, 40 feet is my move bonus, but given we're in rough terrain, do I get half of that?
So it would be roughly 20 feet of movement to get you back on the path from your 10 feet into the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could go 20 feet down the path.
All right. If I go back to the path,
yep.
How close am I to the horse?
The horse, about 15 feet.
All right. I'm going to use my movement to get back to the path.
Yep.
And then I'm going to turn and throw the boomerang at the rider.
At the rider. All right.
And I'll bring my light with me.
Yep.
Now I'm not afraid. I'm still afraid, but.
All right.
All right. So, I'm no longer disadvantaged. Now I'm doing it. Or maybe 15.
15 hits.
Yay! All right.
Roll to hit the rider.
4 plus 3. There you go. 4. Rolling the die. 5 damage.
Okay. Yep.
And
it comes back. So yeah, boomerang goes out, and so the rider sort of appears, sort of glowering next to Leon, and this thing bonks it in the back of the head and then flies off. Leon, a rider appears next to you, gets bonked in the back of the head. What would you like to do?
So I disappear in a puff of mist.
Nice.
and I appear beside Talon.
All right.
Now, it didn't matter in that situation, but if the rider went and confronted Leon,
Yeah.
when I was behind it on the path, would I have gotten advantage on that roll?
No, there wasn't really flanking. Flanking generally you have to be sort of exact opposites, and you weren't quite.
Okay, I didn't know how. Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. Yeah.
Okay, you are next to Leon, next to a couple other people on the path. You are relatively protected. What would you like to do from this vantage point?
So I appeared there. I'm now facing the rider,
Okay.
which means that the bullseye lantern rod is now shining on the rider.
Yep.
And then I'm going to shoot him with a ray of frost.
Nice.
You gotta use the keyword.
Well, actually, I changed it because yeah.
Oh.
So now it's what is the word? Now the word is pagoma. Yeah, I know. It's not quite as cool. Sorry.
That's okay.
So 15?
15 hits.
All right. Awesome.
Nice.
Do 8 damage.
Nice. You notice, so yeah, the ray of frost hits and sort of crackles across the armor. You're fairly certain, having used this enough times before, that the sort of area of effect, the usual sort of frost that appears, is not as large as it should have been, but it does definitely seem to affect it. And so that also means he's slowed by 10 feet, correct?
Correct.
Or does he? Is there a save for that?
Nope. He's
Nope,
just
he's just
affected.
slowed. Yep.
He loses 10 feet of movement.
All right.
Until the end of my next turn. No. Until the start of my next turn. And I'm also going to make my saving throw against fear.
Yes.
Natural 20. I'm no longer afraid of
Yay!
you. I laugh in the face of you.
All right, Gildy, back to you.
All right, I'm still by the horse.
Yes, you are. Yep.
Okay. I'm going to attack the horse again with my short sword.
Okay.
Ooh, that's an 8.
8 misses.
Okay.
Would you like to move at all?
No, I think I'll stay here. I don't want to provoke an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, that's fair. And the horse will go. It's got 2 targets in front of it, and you missed it this time. It's going to sort of randomly pick one.
I don't know if it matters, Rob, but the horse is no longer in light.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Although he's in Talon's light.
He is. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. So that's sort of a lesser light. It's not quite as bright, so they're sort of balancing each other out. The horse is going to attack Torok. Oh, horse might actually hit this time around. Yeah, 22.
That'll do it.
As the hooves flail, doing okay, 10 bludgeoning damage.
Ooh.
And 3 fire damage.
Ooh.
How you doing?
Torok's not looking so good. And Torok is starting to glow.
No.
Yes. Okay, Torok, it is your turn.
So,
you are still afraid, but you're afraid of the rider who's well behind you. You are next to the horse.
yes, and Torok is raging.
Yes.
So I need to get that up and figure out how to get that on this screen.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
So, features and traits. Here we are. So I have to roll a d8.
Yeah.
1. So, sorry. So necrotic energy bursts from you. Each creature within 30 feet takes 1d10 necrotic damage. You gain temporary hit points equal to the sum of the necrotic damage dealt to the creatures.
All right. So roll. So each within how many feet?
30.
That's pretty much everybody except the rider. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
It's all right. So we all
That
take
doesn't include the
damage?
horse.
1d10.
Yep.
Oh,
so
I thought that
roll,
was your, oh, you do D8.
so
okay,
roll 6 d10 or 1d10 6 times. And I will assign as we go.
I think you can roll all 6 at the same time, love.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right. And then you'll figure out who takes what.
Well, you tell them to me in order and I'll tell you who it
Oops.
is.
Wrong dice. Sorry. I missed typo.
Oh God.
Oh, that's scary.
20s.
Yeah,
Ouch.
let's try that.
At least 2 of them were natural ones.
Oh, jeez. Okay, there's a 1,
Two
All
ones,
right.
6,
2
2
tens.
1s, 2
1.
6s, and 2 10s.
Well, so give them to me in whatever order you'd like.
Okay, 1, 1.
Wait, so nice and slowly. Okay, so Jacob takes 1 point of damage. Okay, next go.
1.
Yep. Gildy. Sorry, not Mint. You take 1 point of damage.
6.
Leon, you take 6 points of necrotic damage.
Ow.
6.
Talon, you take 6 points of necrotic damage.
10.
Gildy, you take 10 points of necrotic damage.
And 10.
The horse takes 10 points of necrotic damage.
Yay, at least 10 to the horse.
And I go back up to full hit points.
Nice.
I'm now wishing I had stayed with the rider.
So remind me, does that happen every round or just the round you rage?
Every round that I keep it going.
Okay.
So in another round, you're going to roll that again?
If I don't stop it, but given he's full on hit points, his rage will subside at the end of this round because he could do it on a bonus action.
Okay.
That's terrifying.
Yep. Welcome to Torok's rage. All right.
So he
Anything
still
else you're
gets
doing?
he gets his attack because that's so he will be swinging his axe and he gets a bonus to that as well in rage. Hold on. So rage gets him a plus 2 damage.
Yeah.
So it's still same attack. Oh, yeah, it's only 11.
Yeah, that misses.
But he does use his bonus action to stop raging because he's
Okay.
all of a sudden feeling better.
Nice. All right.
And he'll roll to stop being scared.
Oh, yeah.
This is not Excel, Jonathan. I did equals roll. No. Nope, still scared.
Okay. Mint.
Okay, Mint is also scared, but now she's not just scared of the rider, she's also scared of Torok.
Yep.
So she knows this battle needs to end quickly. I'm going to do my my 2 attack action this round. So I'm
All right.
still at disadvantage, but it means maybe I have a better chance of hitting it if I use up the
Yeah.
double
And so you're
attack.
attacking the rider.
Let's see. Oh wait, whose roll was that? Weird.
That was my roll.
That was your roll? Okay.
Yeah.
Not my roll.
That's why I'm still scared. I got a 2.
Oh.
So yeah, are you attacking the horse or the rider?
Is the rider behind Mint?
Which one is closest to me?
Yes, Mint would have to turn around to fire. The horse is closer.
Because
Then I will attack the horse. 20 or 23.
Well, I'm pretty sure that with fear, if the subject of your fear is not within your line of sight, you don't suffer the negative consequences.
Oh, then it would have been the first roll I did because I wouldn't have needed to roll twice, so it would be the 20.
All right. Yeah, so you can't see the guy anymore. Don't know where he went. So you just attack the horse. That hits. Roll damage.
Total of 4.
All right.
And I will do my second attack.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Total of 23 again. Yay.
That hits. Yep.
That makes me happy. Oh, one moment. There we go.
Oh,
1d8 plus 3.
people could have rolled a saving throw on that wild surge. Oh well. I'll have to remember that.
Oh, well, you. Total of 4.
Well, can't we still do that?
So what's the usual saving throw for that?
DC 13.
All right. And what type of save?
Wait, if we do that, doesn't that mean that the horse gets a chance to save on that too?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm okay just taking damage. If it means that the horse got necrotic damage.
All right. We'll keep it for this time, but for next time, we'll remember that there's.
All right.
Is everybody else okay with that, or?
Gildy's like,
Yeah,
I
it's
won.
What kind of saving throw was it?
It doesn't say. It just says DC. Wild surge requires a saving throw DC equals 13.
So probably wisdom.
I was thinking Constitution.
I guess it's necrotic.
Well, yeah.
Does it depend on what you roll?
Let me see if I can find.
Hey, Sonia.
I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter right now if we're.
Yeah.
We'll figure that
We're
out
ignoring
next
it for the
time.
moment, but we'll look that up. All right. So next, Mint, are you going to move at all?
Yeah, I haven't moved at all yet. I think I'm going to stand my ground because I don't know where the enemy is,
Yeah.
and I'm going to try rolling my d20 just to see if I'm okay to not be afeared as much anymore. 22 total, so yay. I am no
Yay.
longer afeared.
Just Torok. All right.
That sounds about right, though.
And the rider goes. What's the rider going to do? The rider is going to do that. All right.
He's bathed in light.
He is bathed in light at the moment.
Thank you.
So what you see, anybody who's looking at him, which is pretty much just Leon and Talon, is he seems to cast a spell. There's some movements. The sword goes from being this weird sort of shadow wreathed black sword to looking mostly normal. It's still a very large sword, but it looks normal. And he disappears in this sort of 10-foot radius sphere of darkness.
So we can see the sword, but not him?
Well, no. So you see the sword go back to normal, and then he goes, and then everything goes into darkness.
Okay.
And then he teleports. Where is he going? Yeah, that's a good spot right there. Suddenly, everybody but Mint is in darkness.
Okay. Does my light cancel that at all?
Your light does. I said it was bright light, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not the equivalent of daylight, so no, it would not.
Okay. So I'm now in the dark as well.
Yes. You're also, you don't know where the dark sort of came from. It just sort of suddenly was around you. It could just be shadow smoke for all you really know, but you're guessing that this guy did something. And that is his action. Give me a moment. Gildy, you get a sense once this sort of darkness comes over you that there is somebody right behind you. No one else's passive perception is quite that high. So, yeah, you get a sense that there's somebody right behind you. Talon, it is your go. You are in darkness.
All right. My first action is to say Sejaj and initiate the daylight spell within the drift globe.
Yep. That cancels the darkness. And our rider is not happy.
I'm not unhappy that he is not happy.
All right.
And where is he?
No, you can't see him.
Okay.
Would you like to look around?
Yeah, all right. I'll look around.
He is right behind you.
Oh, goody. All right. I am going to spin around.
Yep.
I'm going to use a key point to do an extra attack. Or can I not do that because I've done this?
Yeah.
Is the spell says like is the talking? Does that count as a swift action, a full action, a move action?
Let me see what it says specifically for the Drift Globe, if that is an action or not.
Because that's true. Because I can only do it like in a full.
As an action. So you have taken your action. Yeah. Oh, there's a cat.
Yeah.
So yes, you could use your key point to take a bonus action. So like the dash, disengage. Yeah, I think those are options for your Step of the Wind.
No, I will just turn around and brace myself. So assuming he's still there, I will be able to do a full round attack next time.
Right. You could also do a key point to take the dodge action.
Oh goodness. Dodge.
Dodge is he gets disadvantage if he attacks you.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
All right. So you sort of set yourself, you're ready for an attack. Leon, the darkness vanishes as the Drift Globe sort of lights up brightly. You immediately see nothing in front of you other than Mint, who was there before the darkness. And assuming you look around and take a moment, yes, there is a gentleman standing behind you just to the left.
Okay, so I'm adjacent to him?
Yes.
That's terrible.
That's your favorite place to be, hand-to-hand combat.
He jumped right next to you again.
Okay. How far is it to the other side of the horse?
5, 10, 15, 20, about 25.
And then I'll be adjacent to the horse?
Yes, and flanking it, yep.
All right. So I disappear in a puff of mist.
Poof, yep.
And appear 30 feet away from my present location.
Okay.
So I am not adjacent to the horse.
Yep.
I then move a further 30 feet away.
Okay.
And then I shoot the horse with the Ray of Frost.
Nice. All right.
And so now the horse and everyone along there is in my beam of light as well, which I guess is kind of superfluous, but I don't care.
The more light, the merrier.
Yes. Does a 13 hit the horse?
It does.
Hooray!
Kill the horse.
Kill the horse. The horse is looking very, very wounded.
It takes 6 points of damage.
The horse is looking very, very dead.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh yes.
You killed a weird mystical beast with magic.
I did. I did.
Kill the beastie, kill the beastie.
Gildy. You're probably the only one with the highest perception. What would Gildy see from Leon once this happens?
Well, I think that Leon would definitely do that and then say, oh no. Like what happens to the creature? Does it disappear? Like does it fade?
Yeah, it happened like the ogre did. It just sort of vanishes in sort of tendrils of smoke that flee out in all directions.
Okay. So yeah, definitely does scream out, oh no, when it dies. But then is probably just kind of standing there looking like she's like considering things.
All right. And Gildy, it is now your turn. There's no more horse in front of you. However, you are fairly certain there is somebody behind you.
Sweet. So Gildy is relieved that the horse is dead and is very confused by Leon's reaction. So she says to Leon, she says, "Oh, no, don't worry, it's dead."
You got it, it's good.
Yeah, because Gildy's thinking that Leon thought that the horse was like teleporting or something, but Gildy's pretty sure that the horse is dead. So she's just letting Leon know. She's like, no, don't worry. It's dead. It's really dead. You killed it.
You did it
with your magic very effectively. Anyways, and so then sorry, just laughing at Dee's reaction there. So then Gildy, sensing that somebody is behind her, is going to turn around and look.
There is the rider. He is facing away from you, and you are flanking him.
Okay. Well, Gildy's pretty relieved that he is facing away from her, because she's going to cast some Cure Wounds on herself.
All right.
She is hurting. She's going to cast...
You only did one to her.
No, he did 10. He did 10 to Gildy.
That was 10.
Yeah.
Oh, it was 10. Oh.
Which is why Gildy is hurting so bad.
I thought you were one of the lucky ones.
No, I was not. Anyways, so Gildy is going to cast Cure Wounds as a 2nd level
Nice
spell, which is 2d8 plus 4. Regains 12, which is good.
Right.
And so if the rider doesn't see me, I still have enough in my turn. I can like back away from him, right? Or was it my bonus action to turn around, basically?
No, that was just sort of part of your move.
Okay.
Do you have 2nd level spell slots?
I have 3 spell slots. Oh, I see. There's a difference between regular spell slots and 2nd level spell slots, which means...
Yeah, you have 3 first level spell slots.
I will just take one of those d8s then and take 8.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to say you can back away. You might provoke an attack of opportunity.
Okay, then I will not back away.
All right. I mean, that means you're still sort of flanking with him, so that's good. Yeah. All right. The horse would have gone, and the horse is no longer there. Torok, you're like, the horse is gone. That's great. I'm still afraid of somebody, but I don't know where they are right now. So, yeah, sure, I'll just act normally. And you see Leon about 50 feet down the road from you. Gildy, next to you, has turned around and healed herself.
And I turn around to see what Gildy was looking at.
And you are afraid again.
Damn it! How close am I to the rider?
You are within 5 feet. You can attack him.
Yeah.
All right. Again with the swing. Again with the axe. He's really not happy about turning around every time he turns around.
Just remind me with your axe, did we decide that it was actually magical?
You didn't tell me.
Okay, good.
You still don't know.
It's 15.
15 to hit?
Yes.
That will hit.
It
Yeah,
seems
okay.
pretty magical.
It seems pretty magical, yes. Yep, so you hit.
19 damage.
19 damage.
19?
You, when you hit him, shadows sort of reach out sort of from where you hit him and lash out back at you. And you take 9 points of necrotic damage.
That's how it feels.
Yeah, no sympathy. I understand. So I'll see if I'm scared anymore.
Yeah. He did just attack you with shadows.
No, I am not scared, finally.
Yay! It was apparently getting damaged by him that did it. All right.
He slapped me sensible.
Mint, you are 10 feet away from the rider. He's pretty much sort of right there. What would you like to do?
Mint is grappled by a cat.
Yes.
I am being grappled by a cat. It was a tendril earlier, and now it's a cat. I figure I could take a step in.
Yep.
And I know he's already being flanked. I don't think I get a flanking bonus, though.
Not from where you are, no. It's Talon and Gildy that are actually flanking.
But it means if he tries to move away, it might provoke an attack of opportunity if he doesn't teleport. So,
yeah, you guys are pretty much blocking both ends of the path for him. You'd have to teleport or move into the forest.
I rolled a 14 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. So this is with the short sword.
With the short kitten.
And I got a 10 damage total.
Nice.
That's pretty good. Decent.
And again,
Yes,
when you
Sonia.
hit, shadows reach out from him, doing 9 damage to you.
Wait, I have 9 damage coming my way?
Yep.
Ah, poop. All right. 9 damage. Ow.
Yep. He is looking very, very hurt. And it is his turn.
Yay.
What is he going to do? What is he going to do? He's already done that.
Oh no, he doesn't have a finishing move, I hope.
No, but he could try and do his fear gaze again. Yeah, no. He is going to take 2 attacks. That's sort of part of his regular action. Who's right there? Talon and Talon and Mint are sort of the ones in front of him. So at Talon, he has disadvantage because you're dodging.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but that is still a 17.
Dislike.
I'm assuming that's a hit.
Oh, yes.
Doing, 11 points of damage, max damage with his regular sword.
Oh, goody. I am going to, in a reaction to that, take Bear's Endurance. So I can recoup 1d12 plus 1 resistant to that damage.
As a reaction?
As a reaction. So Stone's Endurance. As a reaction,
Stone's Endurance, yes, okay,
by 1d12 plus 1 once per short rest.
Yep, that's right. Sorry, it was the Bear's Endurance that got me.
Sorry, I did the wrong thing. No, roll the other way. 3. That's crappy. So still 8 damage.
All right. And against Mint.
Oh no, ow.
15.
Okay.
Does that hit you?
16 armor class.
Right, so he misses.
Oh, thank goodness.
And then, how far can he teleport?
No, leave me alone.
So there's this rider next to Leon.
No,
Why does he keep coming after you?
I don't know.
And actually, he is just inside the forest next to you. So he's actually, if anybody else tries to target him, he will be under, depending on who it is, sort of half or 3/4 cover. But from you, not. Talon, you are next.
All right. That was annoying because I really wanted to hit him.
You can make a perception check just to. It's relatively. Actually, it's just your passive perception is high enough. You can sort of see where he went. You were facing in the right direction. But yeah, you figure he's going to be hard to hit with a ranged attack.
All right, so he is now like 6. How far away is he from here? Like 60 feet?
10, 15, 20.
I think that's how far that Leon went, is teleported.
Yeah,
30 and
roughly
then-
about 60 feet from you. Yeah.
Okay. But is it 60 feet like down the path? Like, can I use? How much movement would it take me to get close enough to be able to attack with a ranged weapon without a penalty?
If you moved your full 40, would you still 10, 15, 20, 30. Yeah, he'd still probably have about sort of half.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to move my full 40, and then I will... And I'll just hold at that point.
All right. I mean, you can move all the way up if you're going to not attack.
Yeah, but then I'm going to be within range, and he might actually hit me. Whereas this way I can move again and hit.
All right. All right, Leon, it's up to you.
I'm definitely looking at Talon like, what the heck, man?
Scary, scary dude.
Yeah, I know. Okay. You know what? I guess I'm going to use Earth Tremor and hope
Nice.
for the best.
Okay.
So, because no one else is within 10 feet of me, right?
Nope.
Okay, then yeah. So Earth Tremor, he needs to make a Dex save DC 14.
Okay. Dex save DC 14.
Please fail.
Oh, he has a +5 to his Dex save, but he rolled a natural 1.
Yay! He falls down.
He is prone.
He is prone.
Prone to falling down.
Yeah. So is he still going to get an attack of opportunity against me if I then get the heck away from him?
I believe when you are prone.
So he does also take 5 points of damage.
Oh, does he? Okay.
He does.
What type of damage is that?
Probably not the kind that really hurts him. Earth Tremor. Bludgeoning.
All right. But it's from a magical attack. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot about that. He's got advantage on his saves. He still fails.
Yay!
Yeah, I'll say you do the full 5 damage. He is looking very, very, very hurt. And that was not a melee attack. Actually, no. That was not an attack at all. That was a spell. So you don't get the weird Shadow Lash effect.
I am very happy about that. So if I move away from him, will he get an attack of opportunity?
Yes, but it will be at disadvantage.
All right. So all of the 10 feet around me is all difficult terrain now.
Yep.
So I will move away.
Okay.
Because I really don't feel like being here.
And a 19 and a 4.
Okay, good. You're good.
He misses you.
All right. So then I will have moved then. Wait. I believe I moved 20 feet away from him. Yeah, I've moved.
Okay.
I'm able to move 20 feet away from him because the first 10 feet is difficult terrain.
Right. Okay. Yep. Yep. All right. You have moved away from him.
And I'm definitely like turning to face him, and my light is shining on him, and undoubtedly I like scream and then cast the spell. The earth shakes, he falls down, and then I like get the heck out of there.
Okay, Gildy, you saw the rider disappear from in front of you. Not quite sure where he went, although people started rushing past you, sort of going behind you. So if you turn around and take a look, I'm going to make you roll for this because he's really hard to see at the moment.
Okay. Well, I will turn around and try to see him. What do I need to roll?
Perception.
I mean, I am shining the light into the forest, so at least you have some clue of like.
That's true. Yeah.
He's over there.
Nice.
I rolled a total of 24.
Yeah, you can see him. He is lying on the ground inside the forest. You figure he's probably going to be pretty hard to hit with any ranged attack.
And how far away am I from him?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, roughly 50, 55 feet.
Okay, well,
But
I
you
will
can move.
try with my ranged weapon anyways.
Yeah, you can move a little closer if you wanted to.
Oh, that's true.
You can move up to 30 feet.
I think I will do that. I will move closer to him.
All right.
And then I will use my bow.
All right. You have disadvantage on the attack.
Okay. My first roll is an 18. And my second roll is a 23.
Nice.
Okay. You, even with disadvantage and his higher AC, you still hit him and you kill him.
Oh, nice. Wow. Yeah, you don't have to roll for damage. That's great.
Nope. He had 1 hit point left.
Oh, I didn't kill him.
You almost killed 2 creatures with magic.
But not quite.
Yeah, he also sort of vanishes in sort of the shadows, rushing off in all directions. And oddly enough, where you are standing right now on the path is where you saw that bunny earlier.
Am I able to tell which way it went?
Yeah, well, you can see which way it went. Yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, you can take a look and see if you can find tracks if you like.
I'll check for tracks. Why not?
Roll survival.
That is a total of 22.
You know exactly where that bunny went.
Okay. That's very tempting, but I think Gildy is just going to try to remember it. Gildy's a very pragmatic woman, so I don't think that she's going to be like, I'm going to chase this random thing that happened when
But
she
could
is
it
out on
be
a
a-
job.
But could it be a clue as to where the merchant is? Maybe the rabbit saw the merchant.
Give me an intelligence check.
The merchant.
I will roll intelligence. Where is intelligence? There it is. My intelligence not quite as high as my wisdom. Still 12.
12. That the rabbit was heading roughly in the direction you think you need to head.
Okay. Gildy then is going to bring it to the group, and she's going to tell them. So that rabbit, I really can't get it out of my head. That was so unusual for the forest, and I looked at where it went, and I think that it is heading in roughly the right direction that the tracks we were already heading in, the direction that they were going. So I far be it for me to make a decision like this for the whole group. What do you all think? Should we follow the rabbit, or should we try to follow the same trail that we are currently following?
I think first 2 things. One, I think maybe we should take a short rest so that we can recover some of our constitution. And second, I think we should pool our collective intellect and determine what were those creatures and do they really count as being sentient?
Guilty says, okay, we can do that. I don't understand how that pertains to our where we go next, but if that is important to you, then I am happy to think about it.
Rob, can I make an Arcana check to identify either of those beings?
Yes, you can.
Well, darn. Individually or separately?
Up to you.
Well, I mean, if I can roll separately.
Sure.
then-
Which one were you rolling first?
Yeah, it's probably doing the horse first.
All right.
I have a 14.
14 is probably good enough. So you have heard of demonic horses that sort of have flame, associated with certain parts of them, known as nightmares.
Okay.
But this was different. This, where sort of the flame should have been, was this sort of weird shadow flame. The darkness around it is not what you sort of would associate with a nightmare.
Yeah.
But it was some form of beast related to that, you believe.
Okay. But more of like a magical beast, and certainly it dissipated from like after it died. So is it really alive?
That is up for you to decide.
I'm thinking no. I don't think it should count as being alive. Oh, darn it. And a 13. Wow, for the dude.
Just give me a sec. I'm going to check exactly what it says a nightmare is. So a nightmare is a fiend, specifically.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think that they should really count.
And the other one, you've heard of sort of shadow or not, skeletal sort of warriors before, sort of usually they're undead of sort of a specific type that have a bit more sort of battle prowess to them. With a 13, you're actually thinking this was something slightly different, given sort of the red glowing eye specifically. You're not sure exactly what. You know that because you rolled sort of okay with the nightmare, sometimes nightmares have riders, sort of fiendish riders that come with them. So you think that it's something related to that, some other type of fiend.
Okay. So based on that, I think we could all agree that they don't really count as being alive or sentient.
Gildy says, okay, either way they're dead, so
They're definitely not alive now.
yeah.
Good. That's not much hope. Are we going to have a rest so we can recover? And Torok, what exactly was that? Why did you explode in damaging energy?
I lost control.
Can you please not do that when we're close by?
I
You wouldn't
apologize.
like me when I'm angry.
So do we want to have a rest to recover?
I-
Or should we hurry off into the forest?
I would like at least a short rest myself.
Okay. Yay.
I'd be good with a short rest.
All right.
Yes.
So you're gonna
Was this-
stay on this.
What what time of the day is it?
It's like late afternoon.
Was this when we were stopping anyways, or was this?
You think you could probably go for another sort of couple of hours if you needed to. If you're going to take sort of a roughly half an hour to an hour short rest, then you could get a little bit further on today. So up to you.
Sure. Let's do it.
All right.
Gildy says, okay, I agree that it's definitely a good idea for us to take a bit of a rest before we move on. What does everybody think about following the rabbit versus following the trail we were looking at before?
Well, the trail seems to, we assume, will lead us to where we want to go. The rabbits, we think, might lead us that way because they're going in that general direction. So I feel like following the actual trail makes the most sense. That's Talon's feedback.
But the actual trail led us to this horrible creature.
That is a fair point.
And Turok just looks back, goes, that rabbit belonged here less than we do.
But it didn't seem dangerous. It didn't seem like he was going to kill us.
Which is why I believe it belongs here less than we do.
It also didn't seem to attract the ire of the horse and rider. Or simply it just didn't stay around for the fight.
It was also quite small.
That's true. Now, is it just me, or did that rider seem to have it in for me? I don't understand. It kept coming after me. I didn't even hurt it.
Leon, sometimes there is no sense to how the creatures of the forest behave.
Wow. It'd be nice if there was some. And if perhaps they went after someone other than me. Not
So
that I wish them on any of you.
has everybody regained hit points and taken their short rest?
Yep.
Take a short rest.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you rest for a little bit, feeling a little bit better. Again, it's sort of consistently dark here other than Talon's light. But you get the sense that, yeah, it's sort of getting later in the day. You're going to move a little bit further on. So yes, what was the consensus? Follow the rabbit or follow the trail? Like, it's really only a difference of about 50 odd feet down this sort of the game trail. Sort of, they both crossed it about 50 odd feet away from each other.
Gildy ponders and she says, as intriguing as the rabbit was, Talon makes a really good point in that just because it looks like it was going in roughly the right direction, we know more certainly to follow the trail of what we are actually following. So I suggest, unless anybody objects, that we continue following our trail and perhaps keep this in mind for following up with once we're more certain of what happened to the people we're looking for.
All right.
Alan does not expect that we are going to come back to this point, but he is going to, from where we are, and we know where the bunny trail went, just take his short sword and just like whack at a couple of trees as kind of a marker to be like, this was the spot.
All right. Yeah. So you go back and follow the other trail. Oddly enough, the little ways that Talon went into the forest, you don't actually go much further past that. You only travel about 50 feet further into the forest beyond this game trail, and you come to what looks like a wall of darkness. It sort of spans both directions and quite high up. Again, sort of looking at it, you get the sense that it's quite large, but it also is potentially round. There's sort of a vague curvature to it. And Gildy, you're fairly certain this is where you were trying to get to.
I shine my light at the darkness. I imagine it just illuminates the outer edge of the darkness. And
yeah, it sort of almost reflects back at you in sort of the way that like midnight water, when you shine light on it, it almost just sort of reflects back at, yeah.
I really don't have enough Mountain Dew for this scene.
Yes. Unfortunately, having used the daylight charge for today in the drift globe, that's not of use to us right now.
Yeah.
So we may need to take a longer rest now that we've traveled 50 whole feet. Or other suggestions?
We don't have daylight otherwise, do we?
Day is sort of slowly fading. Yeah.
I don't know if I like being this close to this wall at night.
Maybe we go back and follow the bunny trail. It was only 50 feet behind us.
Well, Gildy says, I'm pretty sure this is where we need to be. If we don't have the daylight in the orb, perhaps we wait until we do to see if it will make an effect. So Gildy's suggesting a long rest.
Yeah.
All right. You're going to rest here?
I don't want to rest here.
I agree with Mint.
So this seems like a great plan.
Yeah, Gildy doesn't feel too strongly either way, but she's like, yeah, it's a little weird, it's a little creepy. So I think she would lead everyone kind of like a little ways away.
You're going back to the game trail?
The way you said
let's
that,
go
I
back
think
to
no.
the game trail, but go like, off the trail a little bit for our camp.
All right, so somewhere between the game trail and the wall, just in the forest.
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't that like 25 feet away from both?
Yep.
Maybe we want to go further than that?
Maybe to the other side of the game trail?
Or like we know where this wall is, we know where the game trail is. Maybe we go like 300 feet in a direction that we know, come back this way.
As you're considering going back
We waited too long.
to the game trail, in the distance you hear hooves that seem to be passing by where that game trail was.
So it's not even dead. Ha ha!
Maybe it's another one.
No. I think it's the same one. It's not even dead.
They come, they grow louder and then they fade.
The town's definitely in favor of like at least a few hundred feet from here.
Yeah, and we know
After hearing the hooves, Gildy's like, you know what, Talon? I think that's a good idea.
And we can hear the creature, so we just have to wait until it goes past, and then we can go. And then tomorrow we wait until we hear the hooves run by, and then we go.
Well, I'm assuming we can camp somewhere without having to cross the game trail again.
I'm almost wondering if that rabbit knew where this wall was, and so it made a dash for safety for the night.
It was roughly heading towards the wall as well.
Okay, never mind.
It's an evil bunny in a vest.
So, that's because we're getting close to the end point. As you're still sitting there debating, Gildy notices out of the corner of her eye this little white fluff thing that you look down and see the rabbit that's sort of skirting the edge of this black wall. And it looks at you and looks at the wall and looks at you and looks at the wall and then just seems to head into and merge with and pass through the wall.
It is an evil rabbit.
And we could do like kid style, like just hold hands and like send someone in and to see if it's just all darkness or just a dark wall.
Gildy pokes the wall.
Okay, thank you. Give me a strength check.
Okay.
Oh no.
The wall pokes back.
Are you doing that with nobody holding your hand?
That is a 12 plus 2, so 14.
All right. So yeah, Gildy's like, hey, the bunny, and goes up and sort of pokes the wall. And then with a bit of a yelp, seems to get sucked into it. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Cool.
Glad we took that short rest.
Yes.
All right. So thank you, everyone, for joining us for this week's Zoom-tastic episode of The Next Level. We might be a bit on and off over the next little while. We'll see how things are. Obviously, it's going to be a bit hard for some people some days to make it out, given everything that's going on in the world right now. So please bear with us. We'll try and give you lots of warning if we know exactly what's happening, when we know exactly what's happening. But yeah, stick with us. We'll let you know what's going on, and we will see you next time on The Next Level. Thank you very much.